Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you very much also for your interest in Yemen. Uh, my speech would include 10 points. The first one is, what is the problem here in Yemen? The problem is a devastating war that resulted in the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. We are talking about 100,000 civilians who were killed at homes, schools, hospitals, weddings, funerals, and farms, and everywhere. And this war also made about 3 million homeless. And there are about 15 millions, that's half of the population, are at the brink of starvation, famine. About 100,000 have already died. So it's famine. But by the way, it's not like the Irish famine of the great potatoes. No, it's Saudi-made famine. It's Saudi-made starvation. Saudi Arabia spent billions of dollars to make this famine, to make this starvation. The second point is, who is involved in this problem? Yemenis, Saudi Arabia, and United States. And when I say Saudis, I mean Emiratis also, UAE. And when I say US, I mean also UK and France. But without United States, Saudi Arabia would not have gone to this dirty war at all. You may ask now, are Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Iran involved? Yes, I would say Al-Qaeda and ISIS are the biggest winner of this war. And Iran is not in Yemen, but it is benefiting very much from this war. Iran wants to see its regional rival, Saudi Arabia, bogged down in this quagmire forever. So Iran is not losing anything, but gaining everything. With every bullet fired to Yemen, Iran is gaining without losing anything. The third point is, what is the situation on the ground? You may ask this. What is the situation on the ground now? Well, generally speaking, north of Yemen is under the control of Houthi, all the north of Yemen. And majority of the population, I'm talking about 80%, 80% of the Yemeni population, of the Yemen population in the south and north, is under the control of Houthi in the north. And north is cleaned up of Qaeda and ISIS. There is no Qaeda and ISIS anymore in the north. But what about the south? The south is under 4 different and conflicting forces. What are they? Saudis, Saudi forces, Emirati forces, Qaeda, ISIS forces, and separatist forces. Separatists. So we have 4 conflicting forces in Aden, in the south, which means insecurity is high, assassinations are every day, bombings, suicide bombings, and all kinds of violence are there. The so-called legitimate government can't stay in Aden. The so-called legitimate president, who is still exiled in Riyadh, is not allowed to return to Aden, the capital of the South. United Nations staff can't stay in Aden. Diplomats can't stay in Aden, but they can stay in Sana'a because of the security. So you might ask why the South is so messed up, why the South is so chaotic. I'll tell you. Saudi forces and Emirati forces are conflicting because they are supporting opposing sides. Saudis and Emiratis are united only over Houthi, but they are divided over Islah. Islah is the brotherhood, the Yemen brotherhood. The Saudi forces on the ground, are mainly from the brotherhood. And the Emirati forces on the ground are mainly from the separatists and the Salafis, both of which are the enemy of brotherhood. So this is the problem in the South. Now, the fifth point is the conflict sectarian? Is the conflict between Sunni and Shiite? No, it is not sectarian conflict. But Saudi Arabia wants to portray it as sectarian conflict between Shiite and Sunni. There is no Shiite in Yemen. There is no Shiite in Yemen like in Iran or Iraq or even the eastern part of Saudi Arabia. Houthi is not Shiite. Houthi is Zaydi. And Zaydi is moderate sect of Shiite. And Houthi, Zaydi, represents about 40% of the population of Yemen. And the rest of Yemen is Shafi'i, mainly Shafi'i. What is Shafi'i? Shafi'i is moderate sect of Sunni. So in Yemen there is only Shafi'i and Sunni who have been in harmony, who have been in coexistence without any problem. They never had problems. There is no special mosque for Zaydi. There is no special mosque for Shafi'i. They go everywhere. This is a fact. They go to the same mosque every day. Anyone can lead in the mosque. Anyone can lead. I'm talking about a fact. In my neighbor, everywhere in Yemen, you can go any mosque. There is no special mosque for Zaydi or Shafi'i. Houthi movement is made up from all political groups, from all sects, and from all regions. For example, I myself, I am secularist. I am secular, but I am supporting Houthi 100%. because Houthi is now leading Yemenis against the invaders, and the occupiers. I am, as I told you, I am secular and I am not from this Houthi sect. I am not from the Houthi region. I am not from the Houthi political affiliation, but I am supporting Houthi 100% because of the invasion, because of the Saudi dirty war. Now, the sixth point is, how did the war begin in the first place? Well, the Arab Spring, or the so-called Arab Spring of 2011, ended up with the strongman of Yemen, Ali Abdullah Saleh, handing the power to his deputy, Hadi, in November 2012. After that, of course, Saleh, Saudis and Emiratis supported Saleh to have good exit and immunity at that time. After that, the Yemenis went into a dialogue. They entered a national dialogue. All the groups of Yemenis, including Houthi, entered a national dialogue. And after 1 year, of debates and discussions, they came out with a vision about how Yemen should look like after Hadi. And then they started to implement that vision by forming a government to run a referendum for a new constitution and election of new president and new parliament. But what happened? Only hours before this agreement was announced by the UN envoy here in Sana'a, Saudi came and bombed Yemenis in the capital Sana'a and everywhere. So Saudis came to bomb us, to bomb Yemen, only hours, and this is documented in the UN Security Council. They came to bomb Yemenis in Sana'a and everywhere because they didn't like that solution. Now, the other point is, who remained with Houthi after Hadi and his government, mainly from Brotherhood, after they were forced to exile in Saudi Arabia. Who remained with Houthi? The strong man, Ali Abdullah Saleh. He allied with Houthi against Saudi invasion. He allied with Houthi against Saudi invasion, although they were enemies. Houthi fought 6 wars against the army of Saleh from 2004 to 2010. But Saleh allied with Houthi. But what happened for this alliance of convenience? This alliance of convenience ended up with the murder of Saleh, with the killing of Saleh in December 2017, last year. Why? Because Saleh called for rising up against Houthi here in Sana'a, and he was killed 2 days after his call, because he switched sides with Saudi Arabia, and this is what happened. So the point number 8 is, how could it be fixed? How could it be fixed? I'll tell you. There is no military solution, as the previous 4 years proved. And there is no humanitarian solution, because there is no one in the world who can feed the Yemenis forever. And I would add tonight to you in Dublin, in the Republic of Ireland, let me say Ireland, I would add tonight to you that there is no solution. There is no political solution as well. As long as Saudi Arabia wants to make this solution lead to a government working with Saudis, not with Yemenis. So Saudis want the political solution here in Yemen to lead or to end up in forming a government that works with Saudis, not with Yemenis. And this is impossible. Saudis have all the right to defend themselves. Saudis have all the right to secure their borders. But Saudis don't have the right to kill and destroy Yemen and starve Yemenis to death. So Saudis must respect Yemen as an independent state, and the Yemenis must respect Saudis. Yemen must respect Saudis and must secure its borders. When this happens, there may be a political solution. Otherwise, there would not be a political solution, and there would not be any security or any kind of stability between the two countries. The point number 9 is what happens if it remains unsolved? What happens if it remains unsolved? Qaeda and ISIS will become the biggest winner. They will expand more, recruit more, and do more terrorist acts. This means that the starvation, if it is not fixed, if the war continues, the starvation would kill Yemenis. The famine, the Saudi-made famine, not the great potato, not the Irish great potato famine, no, but the Saudi-made famine. The Saudi-made famine would kill millions of Yemenis, and the terror would threaten everyone, everywhere. So this is what would happen if this war continues. Now, let me conclude with 2 points. The most important one for you is, where do things stand now? This is important for you because I gave you just background. Where do things stand now at this moment? There is a ceasefire. Now, there is a ceasefire coming into effect in these hours, coming into effect today. And it was sponsored and brokered by United Nations and was declared last week in Sweden. And this is new and different. It is different ceasefire. Let me tell you why it's different. Why it's different from the previous ceasefires that did not hold even minutes. It is different this time because of many things, including these reasons. Or the most important are these reasons. This ceasefire is focused on only one place, on the port of Yemen, on the Red Sea, on Hudaydah port, on Hudaydah seaport. That is the only lifeline of Yemen. The only. You know, Yemenis get their food from outside. All our food is coming from outside, and it comes through Hudaydah on the Red Sea. So it's Hudaydah is the only lifeline now. But I think this is not the most important reason why the most important reason is there was a big pressure from the West, from US, UK, and France, from US, UK, and France in particular. Why they exercise this high pressure on Saudis and Emiratis this time? There are many reasons also. They are very concerned because they don't want any chaos in the Red Sea, because Red Sea means the waterway of Bab al-Mandab, where millions of barrels of oil pass every day, and also commercial ships pass there. It's a waterway, strategic waterway, very important. So they don't want any problem there. And why they are now concerned? Because the forces, the Saudi forces and the Emirati forces who are now around the city of Hudaydah are mainly from Qaeda and ISIS. They are brotherhood with links to Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and they are separatists and Salafis with links of Qaeda and ISIS. This is fact also. You can make sure of what I'm saying. So the people who are fighting with Saudis and the Emiratis as mercenaries, Yemenis or Sudanese, they have links to Qaeda and ISIS, or they are at least cooperative. I mean, Qaeda and ISIS are doing. They are doing well. They are fighting alongside Americans, not only alongside, because they know how to hide themselves. They are not saying we are Qaeda, but Yemenis know who are Qaeda and who are ISIS. So this is the most important thing that made the Western people or the Western countries to exercise pressure on Saudis and Emiratis to stop this war. And I would add now that even or despite all these things, I would consider this ceasefire like the previous ones, if you ask me about my opinion. If Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, the Saudi crown prince, or the clown prince, if you will, if he is not fed up of the quagmire, of the bottomless quagmire in Yemen, which he thought at the beginning that it would be only a picnic or a piece of cake, but it turned out to be 4 years of quagmire, 4 years of attrition war. So if he is not fed up of this, there will be no ceasefire and there will be no solution. There will be no peace. I would add also something that it's new for this ceasefire. There would be some kind, sort of international peacekeeping forces to help the joint committee that would monitor the withdrawal of the forces, because the agreement of Sweden of Stockholm said that all the forces from all parties, I'm not saying from the two sides, I'm saying from many. Houthi is one side, but the others are many. From all forces should withdraw from the city and outskirts of the city, and the UN supported peace forces would help in this, and this would start from this week. I think after the UN security would issue a resolution tonight or tomorrow. So now the last point I would mention, because I want to hear your questions, is this: what could Ireland do to help Yemen? Well, Yemen needs attention. Yemen needs only attention. Yemen needs attention because Saudi Arabia is misleading and misinforming the world. So we need attention, and you can do a lot to make attention. You can do the activists and the politicians and the human rights groups and all those people in Ireland can help Yemen by speaking up, by standing up against the famine, the Saudi-made famine, not the great potato famine. I keep reminding you, it is not a great potato famine like the one that happened in 1840s in Ireland. No, it's Saudi-made famine that Saudi spent to make it billions and billions of dollars. Of disgrace on humanity.
Hello.
What's happened? We lost connection.
Hello.
Hello, do you have Nasser?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was very interesting to hear from you. So I don't know if someone has to want to ask any question.
Yeah, I think we should ask him.
If you want, while he's listening here.
I can see you. Can I see you? Can I see you?
Can I see? We can see you.
Okay. Now.
Okay.
I see you very well. I see you very well. I hear you as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So. Anyone to this? No. Yeah. Come in. Just
Okay. Salam Nasser, nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I have three questions, or three, I think maybe short questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I write them?
I think two will maybe be short. Maybe the last one will be long.
Okay.
The first question I have: you were saying that Al Qaeda and ISIS are benefiting. Are Al Qaeda and ISIS are the people in that? Are they from Yemen, or are they from different countries? That's one question.
Okay.
Second question is, I am curious, how is the government structure in Sana'a and in the places that are controlled in North Yemen? So, the government is the Houthi, and they call them the Popular Committees in English. So I'm just curious how they work.
Yes, number three.
And then the number three is, it seems to me that the three countries that are waging the war against Yemen are Saudi Arabia, America, and United Kingdom. And it seems to me that these three countries, maybe they will stop this war soon. So I guess my question is just, do you think that the war against Yemen will stop? And if so, what do you think will happen? Like, you know, will the people in Yemen be able to develop if they can get food and if they can have a country again? So thank you.
Okay, let me start with the last one. If the war stops tonight, the problem would not end. If it stops tonight, the problem would not end. The humanitarian problem, the economic problem would not end tonight. So we would need a lot of time to recover. We would need a lot of time to recover. We need a lot of things, a lot of assistance, a lot of work also in Yemen. So it's not if it stops tonight, it doesn't mean that everything will end. No. The second question is about Sana'a government. Sana'a government is much better than Aden government. Aden government, they can't stay in Aden one day. President is tried to come to Aden, and they prevented him. They prevented his airplane from landing in the airport of Aden because of the problem I told you. I mentioned some of them to you. So it's chaos. Assassinations are every day, almost every day. Suicide bombings and all kinds of violence, looting, and let me refer you to what the American journalists who came recently, and I helped them to come. They said that they didn't feel for 1 minute that they are safe, although they were not allowed to get out from the hotels in Aden. But in Sana'a, when they came to Sana'a, and when they even went to the north, to Sa'da, the stronghold of Houthi, they were very safe. And I'm talking about things that happened to me. I was with some journalists, how they felt and how safe they were. So it's a government, but it's blockaded. Of course, it's blockaded without salaries, without a lot of things. But you know, we don't want to. Our slogan now is to die. Better to die than to be a slave. Better to die than to be a slave. Saudi Arabia wants to enslave us, and we don't want this. So it's okay. It's good government. There is regulations, and there's security, much security, a lot of security. There is no Qaeda and ISIS as in the past here in the northern places. The first question was about the Qaeda ISIS. Yes, are they Yemenis or not? Qaeda ISIS is, as you know, it's from everywhere. The Qaeda ISIS money is from Saudi Arabia. The leaders in Yemen are from Saudi Arabia, and the grassroots or the bases of the normal operatives or the normal fighters of Qaeda are from everywhere, from Yemen, from Arab countries, from Western countries, and everybody knows this. It's a fact. So they are from everywhere. Yes, if there's any more question, I'm ready.
Yeah. Nasser, Shukran, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Edward. Just a question on the United Nations. Are the United Nations part of the problem? The head of the UN World Food Programme is an American who's a very good friend of Donald Trump, and I get the impression the United Nations are not doing nearly enough to create peace and to get food into Yemen.
But what is the question, please? I didn't get the question. Can you say what is the question exactly?
Are the United Nations part of the problem? Because
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, okay, clear. Yes, of course. The United Nations,
I'm not talking about persons. I'm talking about the organization. Yes, it's part of the problem. I'll give you an example why I'm saying this. They blacklisted Saudis 3 times as killer. Saudi Arabia, Saudi regime, they blacklisted him. They blacklisted them as killer of Yemen children 3 times, and they backed down. They backed down. Why? Because Saudi Arabia threatened they would cut the money, and they backed down. Unfortunately, 3 times. So, United Nations is working with the big guys and with the money, unfortunately. With all my due respect to some people who want to help Yemen as persons, a lot of people. There was a UN chief here in Yemen who was Irish, and he was one of my best friends. His name is Jamie McGoldrick, and he worked wonderful with Yemen. But you know, we are not talking about persons. We are talking about organization. So the organization has a lot of corruption, a lot of bias, and a lot of problems. Yes.
Nasser, how are you? Now my question is that although I understand that the Saudis are losing on the battlefield, the Saudis
Slow.
okay, the Saudis are losing on the battlefield, yet they continue to destroy Yemen. Why do you think they continue to destroy Yemen, although they are losing on the battlefield? This is number one. How much land do the Emiratis and Saudis occupy of Yemen? Thank you.
Well, why Saudis is doing this? Why Saudis is destroying Yemen? It's very clear. Because Saudis think mistakenly, they think wrongfully that they would not be powerful kings if there is a strong Yemen. If there is strong Yemen, they would not be powerful kings. They would not be good. They would not be good leaders of the region. And they feel that Yemen, with its 5,000 history, they think that they have only their money. So they don't like Yemen because of these things. And how much they occupy? They occupy the south and the east of Yemen. But the majority of the population are in the north, and they are not occupied all the south because Yemenis under the leadership of Houthi also have some parts of the south. But the population, including the population from the south, are in Sana'a, and they represent 80% of the Yemeni population.
Salam, Nasser, how are you?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for the talk. I just have 2 short questions. Firstly, you spoke a lot about the involvement of Iran and Saudi Arabia in the region. I'm just wondering about the Iraqi perspective on all this. Where does the Iraqi government stand on what's happening in Yemen? I know that may be difficult to answer because they've only recently formed a new government in Iraq. But I'm just curious because we know there's historically a lot of skepticism among Iraqis to increase Iranian encroachment on the country. So that'll be my first question. And secondly, I'm just curious, among the global Zaidi population, how popular is the support for the Houthis in Yemen? I know again that may be difficult to answer, but I would appreciate any input. Thank you.
Yes. You asked about, your last question was about Zaidi and the Houthi. I would tell you that there is no difference now under the Saudi aggression. There is no difference at all. between the sects and the political groups, and because there is foreign enemy that people must confront. But the population, the popularity of Houthi among the Zaidi is very high. But there is some problems, of course, but they are now not seen. They are not seen because of the aggression, of the Saudi aggression. And Saudi aggression overshadows everything. And for Iraqi government is not that good with Yemen, but Iraqi people is good. Iraqi people is good for Yemen, with Yemen now, because they know what it means. They know Saudi is better than us, and they sympathize with us. They support us in media and also in the activism, in what they are doing, and so there is some kind. We feel there is some kind.
Yeah, I think that's the last question. Someone wants to ask you.
It's a long way to maintain a network from Syria to Yemen.
Thank you very much. I'm done with my questions, with my answers. If there is any more questions, that's okay. I'm ready.
Excuse me, do you think that the Houthis or Yemeni people in general are still asking Saudi Arabia to end its occupation of Najran, Asir, and Jizan? Thank you.
Yes, this is the problem. There are now 45 fronts. 45 fronts. Most of them are in the whole south of Saudi Arabia. Najran, Jizan, and Asir, and most of the operations, most of the deadly operations are there. And if there was no battles, if there were no battles in Najran, Asir, and Asir, and Jizan, the Saudis would let Yemenis in this war for millions of years. But now we are there, and Saudis could not drive us back. Whatever they do, they couldn't, and they wouldn't, and they would never ever do anything. Yemenis are there, and they would not get out from there now.
Good. Great.
Yes.
What you have said is completely different from anything you ever hear in this country from the media here. So it's definitely worth listening to what you said. And actually just a question. The American Senate recently voted against Saudi Arabia. What do you think of that decision? Will it have any impact on the war?
Big thanks to the Senate. Big thanks to the Congress. Our hats off to the free people in the Congress. We don't want them to do anything more than talking about the war crimes of Saudi Arabia, of the crown prince, of the clown, if you will. The clown prince, I'm calling him. So if you talk about the crown prince as a war crime, it's enough. This is what we want them to do, not more. Because we are depending on ourselves. We will defend ourselves. We don't want anyone to help us. But we are very happy with what the Congress is doing. We are very happy with what the Senate is doing. We are very happy because they are making that attention. They are making that they are helping the media to know, to ask what is going on in Yemen, and they helped us a lot with the resolution of last week. And I was following them all the year because there is one senator in the American Senate called Keris Murphy, who started standing up with us, standing up against Saudi from the first day of this aggression. So they are heroes. We welcome them. We are happy with them. We thank them very much.
Questions? No? Nasser, thank you very much. I think that's it. We were glad to speak to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ahmed. We will talk tomorrow about everything, but now it's okay to say yes. Thank you very much for your invitees. Thank you very much for everyone. Thank you very much for all.
Don't forget, we are here next week is Christmas. So happy Christmas for you.
Yes, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for attending here. So,
Thank you.
to Mr. Another, so I'll keep in touch with him. If someone needs his page on Facebook, he writes in English, on Twitter, his email, I can send it to you. Thank you very much.